Tactical reload, eh? Roger that. Roger that. Hello everybody, we're out here on this beautiful sunny day in Indiana, and today I'll be doing a review on two different shotguns. One is the Mossberg 500 and the other one is the KSG shotgun. Let's see how they compare. So first let's go over my setup with the Mossberg 500, and the reason I chose a shotgun is because they're so versatile. And at the time I didn't have a lot of money to invest in the firearms, so I wanted to get a home defense gun but also have the opportunity to go hunting with it, skeet shooting, turkey hunting, so things like that. And so what you can do is you can buy different barrel lengths. So I have a 24-inch barrel, a rifled barrel, got a 28-inch ported barrel, also I have a muzzle loader barrel, and then this one is my shorter barrel for home defense situations. So I got this gun just for that reason, and then also the stocks are also changeable. This one is the Blackhawk Spec Ops Gen 2 recoil reduction stock, and boy does it do a great job of absorbing the recoil for all of those turkey hunting rounds, the deer slugs, the rifled slugs, the 3-inch shells, all of that. There's a spring in here and a spring in the handle, and the springs are actually there to absorb the recoil, so this upper part here kind of slides in this channel. When it slides back, or the spring in the grip is going to try to prevent this from going back, so it's going to be trying to pull it down, and then the spring in here is going to try to push forward on the recoil to push it also forward. For home defense, how I have this set up, I mean, don't mind the bipod, that's there to sight in my 24-inch barrel, which I actually have right here. Let me just show you it. So this is the 24-inch barrel that I got with the shotgun. Comes with a cantilever scope mount, so that once I zero the scope, I never have to worry about it losing its zero. It does have the ported barrel at the end. You can see that it's rifled, maybe. So this is another option that you can get with the Mossberg 500. You just unscrew this here and then screw this one in. And it makes it that simple, so that's why I got the Mossberg 500, just to have all of those options. I've added this side saddle here just to get more capacity, because this gun you only get 5 2¾ inch shells into the tube and one in the chamber, so 5 + 1. This just adds an extra 6. It is velcroed on because they do give you hardware to screw in there. I think over time they've not held up so well and they've stripped, and also it is a pain in the butt to take this on and off every time you want to go skeet shooting. So this Velcro I found out works very well. As you can see, the safety is right here. It's ambidextrous for your left and right hand. I did change out this sight. It used to be a copper bead, and now I just switched to this. I think it's True Glow. Makes it a lot easier to pick up, especially maybe in the home or low light situations. So it works really well. I had issues sighting in this gun last year with these Remington Premier AccuTip 385 ground 3-inch shells. As you can see, there is a light primer strike on the back, and I've never had any issues with the Federal Trophy Copper, which are these rounds, the Federal Trophy Copper. So these I've never had any issues with, so I think that either the Remington has a harder primer and takes a lot more force to set it off, and maybe over time things kind of got weaker into the gun. And so what I did, which I don't recommend, is that I actually cut half of a turn off on the spring inside the bolt where it kind of secures the firing pin, and I haven't tested it, so today we're gonna see if that mod has worked and if I can get this round to shoot. So that was the only issue I ever had with this gun. Other than that, it's done great. I have taken my first deer with this shotgun, and I'm going to keep it. It's very easy to disassemble and clean, and it's just very simple. You don't see too much going on here other than some of the things that I've added. And now we talk about the KelTec KSG 12-gauge shotgun. Probably why you're even here. But overall, I've kept it simple, and it's very convenient to use while in close quarters, especially in your home. So I had the Mossberg 500, but then I was very interested in this because of the round capacity and how compact it was. and it's very easy and maneuverable inside the hallways. I took this gun and the Mossberg 500 to a gun class, a tactical shotgun class, to try them out, to get used to them, and I would definitely recommend, if you get a new gun that you plan to use for defense, is to take it to a class, or at least get some good practice with it, figure out how it works, make sure that you're comfortable with it and knowing your capabilities. Let's talk about what I've done to KSG. Over here I haven't done anything. I've still got the original buttstock. A lot of people put on a pad. I haven't found a need for it. The recoil, I think, I kind of manage it with the muzzle here. As you can see, the safety is different on this gun. You just have a thumb safety, which is also very easy and convenient. And then I added this whole grip. And the whole grip was just there to give a little bit more grip on there. When it was hot out during my shotgun class, my hands were slipping a lot, so this grip really prevented that, or gave me a little bit extra meat to grab onto the gun with. I've added these polymer flip up sights. I don't know, I think I got them from Acme Machine. So far they've held up really nice, haven't had any issues. And then I also added this red dot on it, which I have done a full co-witness on, so that the red dot actually lines up with the fiber optic sight. When you look into this, the red dot is going to be right where the sights are. If the sight ever goes bad, something breaks, light burns out or something like that, you can go immediately into your fiber optic sight without having to make any changes. What I really like is that this whole sight will easily come on and off by just pulling this lever out and pulling the whole red dot off. What's really neat about this shotgun is this KSG V6 muzzle brake. So you'll see in the videos that when I'm shooting, there is a ton of gas that just blows out of this muzzle brake, and it really does absorb a lot of the recoil and the muzzle rise. And I really love this because it also keeps it a little bit safer for you, because if you notice, that muzzle is really close to where your hand's going to be. So it kind of gives me an extra 3.5 to 4 inches of length there, just to keep my hand out, just in case something bad happens. Another thing that helps me do that is this angle forend. And the way I hold this angle forend is I put this tab in between my fingers here. That way when I pull back, I can kind of use this index finger to pull the pump action back, and then I use the other 3 fingers to push them forward. And when I do that, that locks everything in place there, so that my hand won't fall off and hit the muzzle. Some people like to use actual pistol grips here, and I don't really like it because for me it's a little bit harder to hold it like this versus like this. A lot of people have seen that they've broken off, maybe because you're putting too much force, too much torque on that pistol grip and just ripping it off and breaking it off. So this I've had on there for a while. This has worked the best for me. Keeps everything low profile. So the magazine tubes in this can actually hold 11 in each tube of the short shot shells that I have, plus 1 in the chamber. For the 2 3/4 shot shells, you can put 7 in each tube plus 1 in the chamber, so you got 14 plus 1. It does say that it is 3-inch shell capable, but my problem is with the 3-inch shells, yeah, they fit in there, they fire all right, but when you're ejecting, now the 3-inch shell is a little bit longer because the tip peels open, and when you do that, it kind of gets caught into the chamber still and doesn't eject very well. So you really have to either eject hard, but my recommendation is don't use them. Do you really need them in a tactical or home defense shotgun? I guess you decide that. For me, I either stick with the 2 3/4 or the Aguilas and have a lot more capacity. So with the KSG, the design is that they've configured the elevator to be at the top, and then when you eject, the elevator is just going to push it down and then collect around, push it back up, and you're good to go again. Also, so I just loaded up a few rounds into the KSG, and if you notice, you have this switch so that you can switch tubes when one is empty. One good modification to get could be a little bit of a longer one, so that when you're actually in a situation where you need to change, if it was longer, you could use your wrist to kick that over instead of taking your hand completely off the grip and manually switching it. So that might be one modification that I'm still debating on whether getting or not. So here we have the Mossberg 500 in the tactical configuration with the KSG. And for ammunition today, we have some target loads, just because ammunition is at a premium today. You can get these target loads for very cheap, and a lot of them. So we'll be using a lot of those today just to play with the shotguns. And we also got a variety of rifled slugs and double-aught buck. And I did bring some 3-inch shells. And we've also got these mini shells from Aguila. Look like these. Some buckshot version and the lead slug version. And I also found these federal ones that are also the shorty shot shells, just kind of like the Aguila ones too. So the only two manufacturers that I know that make them are the Federal and Aguila. Where's the Aguila? So anyway. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. Will this finally shoot out of the Mossberg 500 after my spring modification? It worked. All right, let's go check out the shot. I'm just curious. That was from 32 yards. So let's see how good it was. So I actually had it at a 100-yard zero. At 32 yards, I'd say it's pretty good. All right, guys, we're back after the rain and thunderstorms has passed. It's knocked down my targets, but I set them right back up. And right now, let's get right into it again before any more rain comes, right? So we have double-aught buck. Let's go ahead and pattern it out of each gun. First off, the KSG. And we'll be doing it at about 10 yards. How do I know it's 10 yards? Well, I have one of these fancy range finders. I use it for hunting, but it's great for at the target range as well. It's the Halo XT600. All right, 10 yards. That's typical for about maybe a home defense situation, 7 to 10 yards. You're not going to be super far away from somebody, and you'll probably be even closer than 10 yards. So, but this kind of gives you a pretty good idea about how the pattern's going to look like. Now, as you can see, there wasn't really much recoil at all. So here we have the Mossberg 500. Go ahead and load in our buckshot. As you can see, that also didn't have much recoil as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the targets and see what we got. So as you can see on the right here, we have the KelTec KSG. You see this really big hole here. That's probably more than likely going to be the wad. I don't have any fancy slugs behind the buckshot, so we got the wad here and 3 pellets that we can clearly see on the target. Over here with the Mossberg 500, you also see the big hole there from the wad. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pellets, and these I am not exactly sure what they are. Let's do a couple more shots. Let's go back let's do 15 yards, see if we can get a little bit of a wider pattern, okay? To change their mind, let's go 20 yards just to see what we got going on here. So Mossberg 500, roger that, roger that. Okay, again guys, the KSG and the Mossberg 500, all of these 3 were from before, and all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yep, all 9 pellets kind of in this range. And that's probably about 9 inches from here to here. And for the Mossberg 500, we do see a little bit more pellets, but now I don't know exactly what is what. But again, you don't see the big wad or the big hole anymore. So as you can see, the KSG definitely keeps your shots tighter from a longer distance. The Mossberg 500, you kind of have a little bit less control there with your pellets. I'm just using a regular smooth bore gun with no choke on it, so you're kind of going to see a little bit more of a spread there. But with the KSG and the V6 muzzle brake, you're pretty good, pretty safe inside a home, 20 yards. All right, next video I want to do is I want to maybe just try an accuracy test. Let's try one with a Aguila mini shell and then another with just a other standard rifled slugs. So they're both rifled slugs. Let's try one of each in each gun and see how we do. So I'll be aiming at the black target down there with the green dots, and the left side I'll be aiming for with the Mossberg. The top one maybe the Aguila, the bottom one with the 2 3/4 inch shell. And I'll do the same for the KSG on the right side of the target. And this is going to be at 40 yards. Roger that. Roger that. Not sure if I even hit it. And like I said, the KSG really cycles the mini shells. I do see a mark. So the side on the right will be the KSG. That was pretty accurate. Not sure where my Mossberg shots are. I think we should try it again. Now I missed completely with the trusty old Mossberg 500 from this range, but I don't think I'm that bad of a shot, so let's try it again. If I can hit it with the KSG without issues, should be able to hit it with this. Round 2. This time I will be aiming in the middle of the target. Got one at least. Alright, so I actually finally hit it with the Mossberg 500. The second shot, not sure where it went, could have more likely went over, but at least I got it on the second try. Maybe it was just user error, but I think I'm going to go with the KSG as being more accurate from that range. Hey guys, I really wasn't too happy with that accuracy test, so let's try it again, because now I've got special targets down there, and those are, you know, the typical orange clays that you use for skeet shooting. One's at 10 yards, the other's at 25 yards, so let's go ahead and give them a shot. Same procedure as before. This gun is the most accurate out of both of them. Okay guys, unfortunately the camera died, so what I wanted to say was that KSG basically obliterated that target at 25 yards, no question. The Mossberg 500, maybe I was slightly off, but I still hit it, but I would definitely go for the KSG as far as the better accuracy between the two guns that I have. With the iron sights and the red dot there, co-witness, things are pretty accurate with that. So next up, let's try shooting this life-size target. I just stood in front of it so you kind of can actually see the body size of that target. Fits a guy kind of like me. So I got some extra 3-inch shells of Buckshot. Let's go ahead and shoot this from a distance, maybe about 10 yards again, just kind of see what kind of organs you're going to be hitting if you were ever to be in a, God forbid, a life and death situation inside your home. Alright, Federal double-aught buck 3-inch Magnum at, let's see, pressure max is 1050 bar. I'm not sure the velocity, but we'll go ahead and check that out and give that to you later maybe. First up is the KelTec KSG. I think I'll go ahead and do a headshot just because I know it's got a tighter pattern as we confirmed on the other one. The second shot, I'll aim center mass and we'll take a look and see what each one looks like. We'll also be able to show you what a 3-inch Magnum is like out of KelTec KSG, and we'll show you if it ejects good or not. Headshot, 10 yards. That time it actually ejected. I think I was very forceful with that, so there has been times where once you shoot this and this expands, it's actually longer than 3 inches then. So if you don't eject hard enough, or the elevator will not be able to shove it out of the chamber as it should be. So make sure you're not like short stroking it. Make sure you're rough with the gun. Don't be babying it, and everything will be fine. Alright, next up, let's see how the Mossberg 500 does with the 3-inch double-aught buck at center mass. Tactical reload, eh? Maybe not super fast, but it works. Alright, center mass. Roger that. Roger that. Aiming right at the heart. That one also ejects pretty good. Alright guys, here's the headshot. We do have a couple in the brain, and one just kind of nicking the scalp there. You can see where the skull is, and this would just be the hair, the gray area. But most of it concentrated here in the nose and facial area, but all the shots from 10 yards are in this size. So I don't know what that is, about how big is a human head? 8.5, 10 inches maybe. Now with the Mossberg 500, I was aiming right here at the X. So the shots were a little bit higher. So now I know maybe to aim a little bit lower or something, but in the end, you do see one puncturing the trachea, the esophagus, two actually there. A lot of them over kind of towards the left side, which anatomically speaking, the heart would probably be more over on the left side. This isn't like the most anatomically accurate poster, but you do get a general idea of what vital organs you're going to be hitting. So both are pretty good and tight patterns here. So I'd say they both do pretty good. Maybe the Mossberg is a little bit wider. Again, KSG seems to be a little bit tighter. All right, now let's show you the Aguila mini shells and the Federal one as well, and how they cycle in each of the guns. So I'm going to do 3 rounds each. We got a slug. This is what the Federal looks like. And the Aguila, here you can't really see them. Actually, this is not buckshot. This is birdshot, 8-shot size actually. And then this is the rifled slug from Aguila. First up, KelTec KSG. Got the slug first. And then the trick to loading this quickly when you want to work on the left side of the chamber is kind of hold it right here. And you might be able to see how there's like maybe a slight curve, and that kind of follows the curvature of the round here. So if you just pop it in and lay it like that, it lays in flat, and you just push it in. Move the selector switch. Drop it in, see? Drop it in, push. Gravity will help pull the round down and hold it in place where it needs to go, and you just push it in. So with that, we're ready to go. Roger that. Roger that. See that? The Aguila mini shells work flawlessly in the KelTec KSG. We're going to try the same with the Mossberg 500. Throw the first one in there. Oh, you can see, you put it in carelessly like that, it's going to get caught up in there. So if you really want to use them right, just going to make sure it's forward a little bit. Let the elevator pick it up and slide it in. And I'm going to shoot this just like I normally would the KSG. Rack it hard all the way back, all the way forward. If I get hung up on the first one, then the last shot I will just half stroke it and put it back in. Actually, that worked very good. So, but would I trust it? Probably not, since I have had failures in the past with those feeding in this gun. There is an adapter that you can put in here so that it is configured for a shorter shot shell, and then with that, shouldn't have any problems. KelTec KSG Aguilas, Mossberg 500 Aguilas. Alright guys, the last test, I think we just want to check to see how it reloads with each gun. What are the advantages and disadvantages? I'll try to go as fast as I can. I'm not a pro at it, but I am out here working to get better at it and to practice. So let's go ahead and see how they work. For the Mossberg 500, we'll use this side saddle that's on here. I will load 1 round into the chamber and then simulate the next round here, or the next 3 rounds. I'll fill them, finish it all out, and manually load them, okay? So I'll be doing this from the ground because my shot shells are there, and the KSG doesn't have a fancy little side saddle for me to use. It just has 2 tubes that you can fill with 12 gauge rounds. So let's just keep the test simple for both and do them both from the ground, okay? Oops. More practice, more practice. The last one was a good one actually. Also notice that all of the recoil is sending this side saddle kind of forward, so I might have to fix that in a way where it doesn't ride forward. Other than that, wasn't too bad. These are a little bit hard to get the round out in an efficient way because they're so tight and holding the rounds. Maybe I just need to have it sit in there for a long period, kind of maybe stretch it out a little bit or something. All right, let's try the KSG, same thing. And I am using these just standard birdshot. We don't need anything fancy to simulate reloads. They are going to be cheaper. So 1 in the chamber, one in the magazine, and then we'll set 3 of them here. See if I can pop them in there pretty good. All right, roger that, roger that. Oh, oh. You gotta fiddle with this elevator. Oops. All right, definitely not the fastest that you could be. With a little bit more practice, you could get good at it, but you do have to realize that the elevator, every time you eject one, is in the down position. And you need that to be all the way up to slide one in there. So what I usually was doing is I took the round, shoved it in, and pushed it into the chamber with my thumb, turned it and closed it. So that's one thing you have to be mindful of the KSG. So it's not going to be the fastest gun at the beginning, but you do have to get used to it, practice it, and know how to use the gun. A lot of times I'm just in the habit of always going forward with this, and that's not good because then it slows you down. You have to reopen the chamber to put another round in. You either have to be really good at knowing when your gun's going to be empty so you can prepare for that, or just acknowledge that, oh, you're out, and quickly release that so you can put another round in. So let's go wrap it up. Alright guys, thanks a lot for joining. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe and like, and let me know if you'd like to see anything else. Let's talk first about my Mossberg 500 setup in the tactical home defense situation. So this gun, I like it. It's definitely part of my rotation. You know, if I had to use it for self-defense, I would trust my life for it. Recoil reduction stock by Blackhawk is a great reduction stock. You don't really feel much recoil at all. The only problem that you have with this gun, with my setup, is just that this side saddle kind of slides forward when you have the recoil. So there's got to be a way where I can just go ahead and stick that in there so it doesn't move as much on recoil. Other than that, I'm surprised that the Aguila shells cycled easily with no issues. There has been problems in the past, maybe if you do more rounds, that maybe you short stroke it and something happens where you don't load the next one in. I wouldn't trust this gun in a home defense situation with the Aguila or the short shells by Federal, but for 2 3/4 shells it does great. Also for 3-inch shells, no issues with the feeding there. So overall, a good compact gun. It's not too much longer than the actually it's about probably another 8 to 10 inches longer than the KelTec KSG. So even though it is compact, it's still going to stick out a little bit farther for you when you're maneuvering hallways and bedrooms and tight quarters. So that's the Mossberg 500. Now with the KelTec KSG, this is the gun that I prefer, that's always next to my bedside, fully loaded. I put in 22 of my Aguila shells in there. I mean, I still wouldn't want to be shot with them. Even the Buckshot size of the Aguila mini shells, the Buckshot version, still do quite a bit of damage. With this gun, I'm more accurate with it. I love that it's a little bit more compact for easier maneuverability in close quarters, in your house, around hallways, and in bedrooms. And I really like this V6 muzzle brake because it's definitely made the gun safer for me, where it's protected my hands from ever getting close to the muzzle. It's made it easier for follow-up shots. It's more accurate for me, and overall, I like it. Could just use a little bit more practice and training, reloading if need be. But overall, this gun, in my opinion, is the best home defense gun. If you'd like to know more about each gun and how they shoot, or if you want to see other rounds getting shot through it, or if you want to see any other kind of shooting with it, let me know. But I definitely recommend this gun. So far, I like the setup with the fixed sights, with the red dot co-witness. But overall, I'm not going to get rid of this. This is my very first gun. Hard to part with. It's got sentimental value, right? And it's great for hunting. So I definitely do like it for hunting, and also for skeet shooting. It's a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. And I'll do the same for the... We'll also get to check this. Look at that little smoke. I don't know if you guys caught that. Oh yeah. Give me that aromatherapy. Anatomical act. I don't know. It just has 2 tubes that you could fill with magazines. One is the Mossberg